Okay, rule of threes. Now you've probably heard of something called the rule of thirds. That's not what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about rule of threes is that most design principles, scale, line, value, can be simplified into three things. And if you do simplify them into three things, they're generally a lot more clear to understand. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and talk about value, how value applies to the rule of threes. And if you don't already know, value is the relative light or darkness of an image. Create a little line here, and I'm going to fill it with a gradient. Okay, so this is a full range of value. You have your lights, a whole bunch of midtones, and your darkest dark. We're going to pick out three values. I'm just going to pick them at random. What I've done here is I'm now saying these are the values that I'm going to use for my image. Just these three. I'm going to simplify things into these three values. Let's try it again. Let's do it again, but let's go ahead and erase these. Let's pick some other ones. Maybe something like white, some sort of mid-tone in here, and not quite black. Now what I'm saying is I'm going to use these three values. These are the values that I'm going to use to paint with. So how does that work? In a three value system, you can set up very simple atmospheric value systems. So using a three value system, you only have 6 options. You have dark foreground, medium middle ground, light background. Or you have light foreground, dark medium ground, or you have medium foreground, dark medium ground, light background. Or you have light foreground, dark midground, middle background, right? Et cetera, dark foreground, light midground, medium background, medium foreground, light midground, dark background, light foreground, medium midground, dark background. You know, these are the basic setup for most outdoor compositions. And the only difference here, you know, oh yeah, here we go. The only you might be like, well, how did you create all kinds of effects with that? The only difference is the level of contrast, right? Like here, my medium and my dark, very low contrast, right? This gives it sort of a atmospheric effect, sort of like it's foggy or maybe even smoky. Whereas something like this might appear that there's, you know, or like this might appear that there's a cloud in the midground, like my character is walking towards you know, a stormy, shady area. You know, whatever's happening here in the midground is dangerous or foreboding in some kind of a way. And if I wanted to, I can even, you know, use my value here to create more lighting effects, right? Like now I have some some shadow there. And I usually stick with a probably no more than 5 value system. But my point is that 3 will get you the basics, right? And now you can add in, like, if you want to add in a couple more. You can't, like, this will be my shadow in my light area, I can say. And this will be my shadow in my dark area. Right? And now I've added 2 more values to my system, but it's okay because they don't compete, right? This is darker than the medium and it's lighter than the dark. So it still works. So rule of 3's can apply to value. It applies to scale. Here's my dark. Let's say this is my small. This is my medium. This is my large. So now when I'm drawing an image, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of different sizes of rocks. I'm going to have these sizes of rocks, right? Let me draw a little composition. These are my small rocks. These are my medium rocks, and these are my large rocks. Right? It makes it more clear. A lot of people think that variety is what makes an image better, but it's actually harmony. Harmony is the same. Variety is things different. So you want to have both, but some people think like, oh, I want all these different kinds of plants in my image. And I would say like, pick a couple and stick with that. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a mess. So again, rule of 3's, right?